Welcome to the Mitel Connect Communication Training Series. Today's topic includes the buttons on the phone, how they operate, and using voicemail. Let's get started. These are the 400 series phones. The model on the left is referred to as the 420, and the model on the right is referred to as the 480. Throughout our training today, you'll see examples on the 480 phone, but it applies to the 420 with the exception of a couple of things. The 480 phone has the soft keys below the display. These are little clues or enhancements to the function of the phone that have pre-programmed features. There are also additional call appearances around the display. You'll see on the 420 that it has only two buttons next to the right of the display. There are three types of keys total on the phone. Those that are around the display are referred to as flexible keys. We can program or change what they do, except for the topmost button. That one is preset as a call appearance so that you can see incoming and outgoing calls. There are also soft keys, which have buttons below the display corresponding to the features right above them. These have a preset pattern, but they change depending on what the phone is doing. For example, if I'm making a call or getting ready to transfer someone, I see different options here on my soft keys. The buttons on the bottom half of the phone are referred to as fixed keys. They have a fixed function such as the hold or the speaker, and those cannot be changed. Let's delve a little deeper into the flexible keys. As I mentioned, these are programmable. Typically, we put at least a couple of call appearance keys on every phone. Call appearance means that's where I see my incoming and outgoing calls appear. By default, if a button isn't programmed, it is a call appearance key. I can add things such as DSS or station appearances. Our examples here would be Doris or Mary Louise. These are direct station appearances for these individuals on our phone system, and I can see if they're on the phone or in Do Not Disturb. I can press this key to call them, and I can use this as part of a transfer process. We can also have outside numbers programmed on keys with our examples that you see here on the right. If I want an outside party, I program their number on the key, and then I can press it to call them, or hit my transfer button and press it to call them. Other features such as record may be programmed on your key depending on your organization's needs. At the top of the display, there is a status bar with the example that you see here down below. It will have your name and extension number, and it will also have some icons on the display indicating status of things, such as this indication of a missed call with the bounce check mark over the handset. A little reel-to-reel looking icon tells us that we have new voicemail. If we are a member of a work group, we will see that indication of whether we're logged in and out on the status bar as well. The soft keys, which are only on the 480 models, change with the phone operation. So if I'm on the phone or transferring a call, or if my call is ringing into me, I'm going to have different options available on these keys. When the phone is idle, I have a pickup, an unpark, wrap up if I happen to be a member of a group, state, and options. On the fixed keys, there are options available on the left and right of the keypad. As we've already discussed, these options are fixed, so they cannot be changed. On the left-hand side, you will see that you have a volume, a headset, which allows you to answer calls with a headset if you're using one, a mute key, and a speaker key. On the right-hand side, we have a voicemail and a transfer key on the top row. On the next row, we have a directory and conference key, and on the bottom, we have a history and a hold button. So let's talk a little bit about how each one of these keys functions as we make, take, and transfer calls. To answer an incoming call, you can do one of three things. You can lift the handset, and that will answer the oldest ringing call to your phone. You can also press the answer soft key. You can press the speaker key if you wish to have a speaker conversation. The caller's voice will come out on the speaker underneath of the handset, and your voice will go in the microphone that's here in the bottom right corner of the phone. So please don't put anything like a post-it note over the phone or your speaker will be muffled. If you wish to divert that call to voicemail, you can press the to VM, to voicemail key, which is in your soft keys when a call is ringing in. This will allow you to divert the call immediately without answering it. If you need to make a call, you can simply lift the handset and start to dial, or you can just start to dial. Internal extension numbers you'll just dial immediately on the keypad. If you're dialing an outside call, you would dial your dial code first, such as a 9 or an 8, and then the outside number as you've always dialed it. When you have an active call on the phone, you have a couple of feature keys that you can use to manage it. The first is the hold feature. There are two options for hold. You can either use the hold fixed key that is in the bottom right corner of the phone, or you can use the hold soft key. If you press either one of these keys, this soft key will change and now say resume. You can press the resume or the hold button to retrieve a call, or you can simply press on the blinking call appearance where the call is to retrieve it. The mute key allows us to mute our end of the conversation. So if I'm talking to someone and I need to sneeze, I certainly don't want to do that in their ear. And I don't want to put them on hold because they'll hear hold music. So I press the mute key and that mutes just my end. I can still hear the caller talking fine. I would press this unmute or mute again in order to go back to a two-way conversation. This light will be lit on this key when I am using the mute feature. There is also a redial button that is in the phone when the phone is idle or when I'm making a call. I can press the redial once and I will see my list of recent calls. I press it twice to immediately dial the number. When I have an active call on the phone and I want to transfer it, I'm going to again choose either the transfer fixed key or soft key as part of the transfer process. The caller is immediately put on hold as soon as I press either key. I can then dial the internal extension or 9 in the outside number if I need to transfer it to an outside caller. I am allowed to stay on the line and consult with the recipient of the call. When I consult with the recipient of the call, they can tell me if they wish to have the call or not. If they do wish to have the call, I can hit the transfer key again, or I can simply just hang the handset up and they are connected immediately to the caller. I have a note here at the bottom of the screen just to remind folks, if they don't want the call, you can press on the key where they're holding or hit the cancel soft key that would be available at that stage on the phone in order to go back to the call. If I want to transfer a caller to voicemail, I do have the to VM soft key option during the transfer process. And the way that that works is I will hit either my fixed or my soft key transfer, dial the internal extension number where the caller is going to go. You will see a more or 2 dots depending on the software level of your phone. And when you press the more or 2 dot key, you will see a key that says to VM, just like we saw when we redirected a ringing call. When I press that to VM key, it goes immediately to that person's voicemail. It does not ring their phone. If I don't want to transfer the call, if I want to give the recipient a little more time to pick the caller up, then I'm going to use the park feature. So the park feature is available when I'm actively on a call. It is a soft key that is in my display, and when I press that park key, I would then dial an extension and press the park key again. This would put the call on hold at the recipient's phone. They hear one little glitch ring at about 10 to 15 seconds. That's the only indication they get that the phone has a call holding and waiting for them. You would then need to contact them and alert them that they have a call at their desk. If they are sitting at their desk, they can simply lift the handset and they'll be immediately connected to the caller. If they want to go to another phone, they can use the unpark feature. As we mentioned before, unpark is one of the soft keys that's available when the phone is idle. We can press unpark, extension, and unpark to bring the call to us wherever we are. So if I want to meet in the conference room for the call instead of my office, I can go down to the conference room and I can still use the unpark feature to retrieve the call there. If I want to use the conference feature, I'm going to use the conference fixed key on my phone, or I can use the conference soft key. When I press the conference key, I call the next party and wait for an answer. I want to consult with them and make sure that they can get on the call. Once I have the second party on the phone, I press OK or confirm soft key to join the calls. I have another note here on the bottom of the training slide, because one way that I prefer to do conference calls is to call each of the individual recipients and just put them on hold. If I use my hold soft key or fixed key, I have all the parties holding on my call appearance keys. Then I will get a soft key that says join, and I can join all the held calls on my phone, as opposed to hitting conference, dialing the party, conference, dialing the party, and so on in order to add everybody. I get them all individually on the phone and then join them so they hear each other at that moment. As we mentioned, and I just want to make reference to, we have the unpark key here when our phone is idle, and this is what it looks like. The availability state is also one of the soft keys when my phone is idle. This allows me to give an indication to my team if I'm not available for phone calls. I can also use this key to change how my phone routes in each one of these modes. Special note here, to edit each one of the modes that I have in the availability state, I need to go into my desktop software or contact my system administrator. The modes that are available to me are available, which is my standard receiving all calls mode. Then I have in a meeting, out of office, on vacation, D&D, and any custom setting I want. Using vacation as an example, if I'm going to be out of the office on vacation and I put myself in this mode, I can have a greeting recorded for this mode, which says I'm currently on vacation. When I come back and put myself back in available mode, then I have my standard voicemail greeting that people hear most of the time. So I can use these modes also to offer custom messages. Now for the 420 phones, since you do not have a state soft key, when we get into voicemail, you'll see that you can go into option 7 in the voicemail menu and you can select what state you're in. So you would use your voicemail options for that. There is also a pickup key that is on each 480 phone when it is idle. This pickup key allows me to pick up a ringing call that I hear at another extension. So if I'm standing in someone else's office and I hear my phone ringing, I can either run down the hall and try to grab it, or I can press the pickup soft key wherever I'm at, dial that extension of the ringing call, and press the pickup key again. This will bring the ringing call to me. Now, there are a couple of other features to point out that are on the phone, and these features include directory and history, and then your options. The directory is a list of staff with a status indication, by the way. So if you access your directory key, which is one of your fixed keys in the bottom right part of the phone, that directory link will take you to a list of staff in your system. You could input your name that you're searching for, and it will narrow the list to any first or last name matches. If you go with your speed dials, or if you start to search, it will also search your external contacts. When I select the history fixed key, which is right next to the hold key on my phone, I get a list of all calls in my history. I can see an icon next to each call that tells me whether it was incoming, outgoing, or if it has the bounce check mark like what we see on the status bar, that was a missed call. The all call history comes up, but I can use my navigational wheel to go up and down the screen, and I can go left and right to change the view, whether I'm looking at all, missed, received, or placed. So I can change the history view by using my navigational wheel to change which list I'm looking at. Note that there is an options soft key when the phone is idle, and you must know the voicemail password to use this. This options key allows you to get in and set up any one of these programmable keys. Again, keep in mind, the top left one is not programmable. You can also set some pre-recorded ringtones, and you can put yourself in headset mode if you wish. Let's go ahead and finish with the last key on our phone and start our voicemail discussion at the same time. The voicemail key is located next to the transfer key, and when I press that voicemail key, it's going to give me access to my mailbox connected to my phone. The first time I access voicemail, I'm going to use the password provided by the system administrator, and I press that password followed by pound after hitting the voicemail key. I will be prompted to set up two items: my name, which is used for the company directory, and my password, which must be a 4 or more digit combination. I will be asked to re-enter the password just to confirm it. Now there is a third item that you need to set up, which is your greeting. You are not prompted for this greeting when you first log into your voicemail. So after you have recorded your name and changed your password, you will go to the main voicemail menu in the voicemail system, and you will press 7 when you hear that main voicemail menu. Then you'll choose 1 to record a greeting. This is where you can complete the voicemail setup. When we look at the flow chart in a moment, I'll show you again where you go to do this. You want to make sure that you convey 3 things: who you are, you're not available, and leave a message at the tone. So make sure that you state your name in that greeting, because callers may not hear the company directory greeting when they get to your mailbox. And if you don't set your voicemail up, they'll hear a generic message. So we want to make sure that they hear your voice so they know they got in the right mailbox. Now, anytime you want to access your voicemail from your desk, you can just press the voicemail key. You can also hit the pound. If you want to access your voicemail from another phone, you can press the voicemail key at that phone or hit the pound key. When the system prompts you for a password, you're going to hit pound again. This tells the system that you are bypassing the voicemail at that phone, and you will automatically be prompted by the little lady in your phone to put in your mailbox number and password, followed by pound. If you are outside the office, you're going to dial the main number or the voicemail access number, and when you hear the system greeting play, press pound. Again, you'll be prompted to put in your mailbox number and password, followed by pound. Whichever way you access the voicemail, this is the big giant flow chart of voicemail options, but the main list that we want to focus on first is here on the left-hand side, and that is 1, to listen to messages, 2, to send a message to somebody else internally, 3 to listen to saved messages, and 7 if we want to change something about how our mailbox is set up. Now, during the first time setup discussion, I mentioned that you should press 7 from the main voicemail menu and then 1 to record your greeting. Here you can see on the flow chart is our main option 7 and our 1 to record greeting. You'll record the greeting, then be asked to accept it by pressing pound. I also mentioned during training that if you are using a 420 model phone, you will need to use the voicemail mailbox options in order to change your availability state. You will see that here, the second one down, number 2, on mailbox options. So to change the availability state on a 420 phone, you're going to access your voicemail. You're going to press 7 and then 2 to get to the list of availability states. Now, regardless of what model phone you have, when you access your voicemail remotely, you can change your availability state using this option as well. A couple of other notes in the mailbox options section is the set password and record name. You can redo both of those original setup items here, as well as listen to deleted messages. We will often set up forwarding from voicemail to email, so you'll get an audio file attached to an email of your voicemail recordings. If you have that feature active, that message will be kept separately, even if you delete a message or it is eventually permanently deleted out of your mailbox. Let's go back up on our main menu. Let's look at number 3 briefly. This is saved messages. So any message that I've listened to and chosen to save will appear here, and any message that I've hung up on in the middle of listening to will also drop down to saved messages. You can press 2 to send a message internally if you wish, and most of the time you're going to hit 1 from the main menu in order to listen to new messages. Again, keep in mind, these are not saved messages, these are new. Your saved messages are down here under option 3. Regardless of whether I'm listening to new or saved, I do have the same options available to me, which includes 1 to replay the entire message, 2 to save, and 3 to delete. Deleted messages are kept for about a day, and then they're permanently deleted out of the mailbox. The mailbox also has a capacity limit of 1 hour. That's new, saved, and deleted messages toward that 1 hour total. So you would want to make sure to regularly clean your voicemail box out. It is not intended for long-term storage of messages. If you need long-term storage of messages, then you would need to take the copy of the audio file that is in your email and save that onto your computer so that you can keep that message indefinitely. A nice bonus to that is that you can name that message whatever you want or place it in the appropriate folder so that you can easily refer back to that versus having to go through all of your saved messages to find just one. You can also hit 4 to forward a copy of the message, and you can forward that to any internal recipient. You can hit 5 to reply, which is a handy feature if you can't hear the phone number that the person is saying. You can hit 5 to reply, and if we follow our little line across here, we can reply with a callback by pressing 2. So again, we would hit 5 to reply and then 2 to reply with a callback, and it will pull the caller ID or extension number of the person who called and dial it for you. It will also put the message down in the saved messages and take you completely out of voicemail, so you'd have to go back in to continue listening to other messages. You can hit 7 or 9 to back up and fast forward in 5-second jumps during the message. So if somebody rattles off their phone number, 800-362-6300, just like that, and you have no idea what they just said, you can press 7 and it'll go back 5 seconds in the message every time you press it. So in other words, you press it twice, that's 10 seconds, 3 times, 15 seconds, and so on. This will allow you to move back and forth and listen to just one piece of the message, as opposed to hitting 1 to replay the entire message. You can also press 8 to pause. So if someone comes up to ask you a question, you can hit 8 to pause the message and then 8 again to continue. If you wish to leave the message as a new, which keeps the light indication on your phone, you can hit the pound to skip. Thank you for joining us today for training. Please visit us at prooncall.com or call 800-362-6300 for support. Have a great day.